Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. I wanted to call your attention to a second interview by the Idaho State Police relative to their investigation into the crimes that occurred at 1122 King Road. It is a 6-page document. It is sequence number 0037. That's where you can find this document amongst the public records that the ISP released last month. The summary narrative of this document states that on December 6, 2022, Idaho State Police Lieutenant Jack Catlin and Sergeant Tim Hopkins interviewed, and there are 3 words that are redacted here, reference his knowledge of the unalivings that occurred on November 13th, 2022 in Moscow, Idaho. Blank was accompanied by his mother, and 2 words here are redacted. If we go to page number 2, we note here that this interview was recorded. Under the property section, it indicates recording of interview. And then if we continue down to the narrative section, which will continue on for several pages here, but in my opinion has some key information relative to this investigation. It begins at paragraph 1. 1 basically is duplicative of what we just went over in the summary, except for the final sentence that says, name redacted, reported the following. Paragraph number 2. This interview began with blank and blank himself discussing what his family had been dealing with regarding online activity concerning the case. Going ahead to paragraph number 3, this is located on the next page, page 3. I informed blank I wanted to focus on the days prior to the unalivings, and the rest of this paragraph discusses what he said he did, beginning on Thursday night for an early weekend, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. According to him, it was a typical weekend, and he can't remember that weekend being any different. The next paragraph is paragraph number 4. It states here, I asked blank if he knew about the sorority formal on Friday. Blank said maybe, but he really does not pay attention to such activities. He stated there is always something happening on campus and he does not follow all the activities. Paragraph 5. I asked blank if he was aware there was a party at the house where the unalivings occurred, 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, on Friday night. Blank said he was unaware of a party on Friday, but thought there was a party at the house on game day, Saturday. However, he was not sure there was a party at that house because there were 6 to 7 houses on King Street on that Saturday having parties. Blank only went to the parties at the blank building on game day, Saturday. Blank rarely attended such parties because many times there are freshmen and sophomore at such parties, and he does not like partying with the younger underclassmen. Next paragraph 6, I asked blank to walk me through his day on Saturday, November 12th, 2022. Blank informed us it was difficult since he was drinking all day that day. He did not attend the game, but he did go to the party at the blank. He went back to his apartment, then later out to the bars, Blank claimed he did not remember a lot of specifics, but there were people everywhere. He knew some of the people, many he did not know. Paragraph 7. Blank explained for the first 3 years of college he had a girlfriend and was in a relationship. He did not really party and meet a lot of people during that time. He spent most of his time working on the relationship, and as a result, Blank does not know the number of people other seniors do, and he does not talk to the individuals he does not know. Next paragraph, paragraph 8. I then asked Blank if he was with, 2 words redacted, on Saturday. Blank said yes, and described Blank as his good friend. He could not recall when he met up with Blank that day, but he believed Blank and redacted came to his apartment. Then they all went to the party at the blank. Paragraph 9. Blank then looked at his phone and found a text message string between he and Blank. Same text message string that S.A. O'Neill photographed on Blank phone. The first text was sent by Blank on Saturday at 4:16 p.m. To Blank, it simply said, "Yo." Blank then replied, "What's up?" And Blank asked if Blank was still at the blank. Blank informed him he was, and that he was going to get some food. Blank asked where Blank was, and Blank informed him he was back at his apartment, getting ibuprofen for his back. Blank asked Blank to grab him a couple of beers if there were any left, and then in parentheses, this was the last text message between him and Blank on Saturday. Paragraph 10. After reviewing the text string, I informed Blank it appeared he and Blank had been at the party prior to the start of the text string. Believed they went to the party at the blank around 1 to 2 p.m., but he could not recall the exact time. He did not recall seeing Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez and all the residents of 1122 King going outside and taking the photographs everyone sees now. Paragraph 11. Blank knew Maddie the best. He had known her since his freshman year because they had classes together, and she would hang out at the 3 words redacted Fraternity house. Paragraph 12. Blank said while attending the party at the blank, he made several trips to his apartment to stretch and deal with his sore back. Blank claimed after the string with Blank began, he did not return to the party at the blank. On page number 4, ladies and gentlemen, paragraph 13, I asked Blank if he remembered going to the blank house with, and 2 words are redacted here, replied, not really, then said that is why he agreed to go to the other bar with Kaylee and Maddie. When they asked, he does the same thing every weekend, and it is hard to remember. Paragraph 14, I confronted Blank with the information we had gathered. Reference, he and Blank had been picked up by a fraternity DD, designated driver, driven to get food and beer, then dropped off at the blank fraternity house. Blank responded that would not be out of the normal, but did specifically recall. Paragraph 15. Sergeant Hopkins asked Blank about purchasing a 30-pack of beer and splitting the beers between himself and Blank. He did not recall if they purchased a 30-pack on Saturday, but it was normal for him and Blank to purchase beer and split it up between the two of them. He could not remember if they did on that Saturday because they were drinking all day. Sergeant Hopkins asked what type of beer they typically purchased, and Blank informed us it was usually Keystone, Natural Ice, or any cheap lager beer. Paragraph 16, I instructed blank to refer to the next string between himself and blank and look at some of the communications on Monday, specifically where he was asking blank if he wanted the bag back. Blank read the text string, then remembered he did borrow a bag from blank that Saturday. He and blank were at the redacted house, and blank had passed out. Blank took a bag from blank and filled it with approximately 15 beers. He believed he went back to his apartment because the bag was at his apartment and he had to return the bag to blank. Paragraph 17. Blank did not see blank again that day or night because blank went to the bars and blank did not. Paragraph 18. I asked blank how he got from his apartment to the corner club. Blank responded, probably a DD, in parentheses, designated driver. Paragraph 19. Blank did not recall the clothing blank was wearing Saturday the 12th. Paragraph 20. The next contact had to do with blank was Sunday morning sometime. 2 words redacted, was with blank driving to get some food. Blank called blank and asked what was going on at the house down the street from blank's apartment. Blank indicated he already told us what happened after that in his previous interview. Paragraph 21. Blank could not remember seeing anything out of the normal that weekend. He had said goodbye to Maddie and thought he would see her in class after they got picked up at the food truck. Paragraph 22, blank described blank as laid back and quiet. If people don't know him well, they would view him as an outsider. Blank is very quiet and will not open up unless he knows you. Blank said, blank is a great guy and knows he would not have done this for sure. They have always been friends since the 7th grade. They attended blank blank and U of I together. Blank has always had blank's back, and blank described blank as a ride or die buddy. Paragraph 23. Blank informed us Maddie cared about blank because they used to be close. Blank and Maddie had an off and on again blank relationship in the past. It worked for blank because blank did not want a girlfriend, but blank claimed it was difficult to describe because blank did not really talk about, quote, unquote, those things or brag about girls. 24. Blank knew blank and Maddie had gone on a trip to Cabo, Mexico with a large group of U of I students during spring break. Blank did not go, but the trip, which was arranged by a guy in the fraternity. 25. Blank did not have a relationship with anyone else living in the 1122 King Street house. Paragraph 26. Xana had been in a past relationships with blank and another guy. Blank did not know, but she appeared happy with Ethan Chapin. Blank did not know Kaylee and did not know she used to date the 2 words redacted, in parentheses known to be, 3 words redacted, did not know, name redacted, or blank, going on to page 5. He indicated he may recognize them if he saw a photograph but does not know them. The only individuals he really knew from the house was Maddie, due to mutual classes together. Paragraph 27. He did not know the number of times blank had been inside the 1122 King Street residence, especially since blank had been banned from the corner club for a while, and blank did not know what blank was doing while blank continued to frequent the bar. Paragraph 28. Blank expanded on blank's ban at the corner club. He indicated there was a 2-strike system at the bar, and after you had 2 strikes, you were banned by the bar for a period of time. Blank admitted it was his fault for Blank being banned, and they both should only have had one strike. Blank admitted he and Blank are quote-unquote hotheads and will hold their ground. Blank said Blank already had one strike at the corner club for arguing with the bartender while Blank got drunk at the bar and began arguing with the boyfriend of a girl he liked. The argument escalated and Blank pushed the boyfriend. The bartenders broke up the argument and blamed Blank. As a result, Blank received his second strike and he was banned from the corner club until February. Paragraph 29. Blank admitted he and Blank have gotten into fights with other individuals. He explained they don't look to hurt people. They are generally drunken arguments, and most of the time they involve individuals from other fraternities. Paragraph 30. I asked Blank if he noticed any strange alumni or strangers while attending the party at the blank. He did not recall seeing anyone out of place while he was at the party or at the corner club. Paragraph 31. Blank said after the girls were picked up from the food truck, he did not want to wait for a ride and did not even know if his DD, designated driver, was even still accepting calls. So he walked home. Blank informed us it was no big deal to walk home. When they were at the food truck, he believed he and the girls were going to another bar, but they were drunk and got a ride home, he presumed. Paragraph 32. Due to the unalivings and the rumor circulating around campus that classes would go online, he made the decision to return to Boise. On his way out of town, he stopped and saw Blank. Blank returned the bag he had taken to transport the beer on Saturday and a HDMI cable he had borrowed to watch football. Paragraph 33. Blank was active in the Blank fraternity. Blank lived at the fraternity house, paid rent and his dues. Blank was also at the Blank for the Blank fraternity. Blank is also a Blank member and has been since his freshman year. Blank only pays his dues, which gives him access to the fraternity and one meal a week. Blank usually eats at the fraternity house on Monday because the house chapter meetings are conducted every Monday. Paragraph 34. Sergeant Hopkins and I asked about the house known as Blank, located at Blank. He informed us Blank is an off-campus house associated with the Blank fraternity. Upperclassmen often transition out of the fraternity house and move into the Blank. Sometimes other individuals will rent a room at the house. At one time, a football player was living there, and even a professor stayed there for a while. Paragraph 35. I asked Blank if he had any knowledge about Kaylee having a Blank relationship with a Blank. He stated he had heard rumors, but thought they were weird because the rumor he had heard was Kaylee was involved with a blank, blank, or blank, and he understood Kaylee was, Blank believed it to be, an outlandish rumor, and it would be more believable if it was a blank, blank. 36. Blank again informed us he did not really know Kaylee and did not know if she had a job. His only connection to Kaylee was due to knowing Maddie. Blank did not even initially know Kaylee was the girl with Maddie at the corner club on Saturday night. It was a chance encounter seeing Maddie at the bar, and he had been talking with only Maddie. It was Maddie that invited him to go with them to John's Alley to get some food, but they decided to get food at the food truck. Paragraph 37. Since returning to Boise, Blank has been hanging out at home playing Xbox. He has gone out to the bars with Blank a couple of times, but has been staying at his house most of the time. Blank did inform Blank someone had called a tip into police pretending to be his mother. Page number 6, paragraph 38. Blank discussed some of the internet rumors accusing him of the unalivings. Everyone continues to ask him what happened that night, and he informs them he has no idea. He has always thought the students would figure out who committed the unalivings before the police, because they knew the community better than the police. Now that the unalivings have not been solved and the students do not know who committed the crimes, everyone is scared. Paragraph 39. Sergeant Hopkins and I asked blank about the most recent issues resulting in blank for the next 4 words are redacted. He informed us a video of freshmen hazing other freshmen was the most recent issue. A parent had seen the video of freshmen throwing another freshman's bed out of the fraternity house, 2nd floor window. Sergeant Hopkins asked about issues at a sorority function, and according to blank, there were 2 issues at the sorority's off-campus function. The first involved blank and blank was picking on a guy at the party, calling him Kermit the Frog. Eventually, a scuffle broke out, and blank was just backing up blank once the scuffle started. The other student at the same party involved a couple of blank. The other incident at the same party involved a couple of blank freshmen throwing hangers and causing damage to the facility. These issues did not cause trouble for the blank fraternity since it was not a blank function, but the individuals involved are in trouble themselves. Paragraph 40. At the end of the interview, I asked blank if he would consent to getting a set of major crime fingerprints from him before he left. Blank agreed, and the ISP forensics printed blank. At approximately 1:32 p.m., the major crime scene prints were completed, and blank left the District 3 office. This now concludes this report. If you have any comments, thoughts, opinions, speculation that you would like to share, please leave your thoughts and comments here. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us today.